What becomes of a life that was built side by side with someone for 40 or 50 years, when suddenly you must walk it alone? After decades of shared routines, shared responsibilities, and shared memories, the absence of a spouse can feel less like a change and more like an erasing of something fundamental. The quiet in the house feels different. Even familiar rooms seem unfamiliar. And somewhere deep inside, a question begins to surface. Who am I now? The truth is, while grief is one of the most natural experiences in human life, certain patterns of thinking and behavior can quietly make this chapter far more difficult than it needs to be. Today, we will gently explore 4 hidden mistakes many people over 60 make after losing a spouse, and how avoiding them can help you continue living with strength, dignity, and peace. In younger years, change often feels temporary. Careers shift. Children grow. Life evolves. But after 60, marriage is not just companionship. It is history. It is shared identity. It is decades of intertwined habits and emotional understanding that cannot easily be separated. When one partner passes away, the surviving spouse often experiences more than grief. There can be a deep sense of disorientation. Daily routines that once felt automatic now require conscious effort. Decisions that were once shared must now be made alone. Even simple moments, such as preparing dinner or watching television in the evening, can carry unexpected emotional weight. At this stage of life, emotional strain can also influence physical well-being. Stress may affect sleep patterns, appetite, blood pressure, and overall energy levels. For that reason, it becomes especially important to approach this season with awareness and care. Although nothing removes the pain of loss, avoiding certain emotional traps can prevent suffering from becoming prolonged isolation or hopelessness. Let us walk through these 4 mistakes thoughtfully and calmly. Mistake 1. Allowing your identity to shrink into your loss. After the death of a spouse, something subtle but powerful often occurs. The world begins to define you by what happened. Conversations shift. Introductions change. You may hear yourself referred to primarily as a widow or widower. Over time, you may begin to internalize that label and see yourself mainly through the lens of loss. It is common to feel that the most meaningful chapter of your life has already been written. When you have shared decades with someone, it can feel as though your identity was built together, and without them, something essential is missing. However, while marriage shapes identity, it does not fully define it. Long before you were someone's husband or wife, you were an individual with personal interests, strengths, beliefs, and talents. Those qualities did not disappear with your spouse. They remain part of you. Consider Margaret, a 73-year-old woman who had attended an art class with her husband for years. After he passed away, she stopped going. She quietly assumed that without him beside her, that part of her life no longer belonged to her. Months later, she realized that painting had always been a personal passion. Returning to class did not diminish her love for her husband. It reconnected her with herself. Grief may alter your role, but it does not erase your character. The patience you developed through raising children, the wisdom earned through decades of experience, and the resilience built through life's many trials are still firmly rooted within you. Preserving your sense of self is not an act of disloyalty. It is an act of emotional survival. Mistake 2. Either avoiding memories or living entirely in them. Memories after loss carry a unique emotional complexity. They can bring warmth and heartbreak at the same time. Some individuals attempt to cope by distancing themselves from reminders. Photographs are stored away, clothing is donated quickly, and shared places are avoided. The hope is that fewer reminders will reduce the ache. Others move in the opposite direction. They revisit old albums daily, replay past conversations, and mentally live in the years before the loss. Gradually, present life begins to narrow. Both responses are understandable, yet both can hinder long-term healing. Completely suppressing memories often leads to unresolved grief. Emotions that are not acknowledged tend to resurface in indirect ways, such as restlessness, emotional numbness, or unexpected waves of sadness. At the same time, Living exclusively in the past can prevent the formation of new experiences that give life continuity. Healthy adjustment involves balance. It is entirely appropriate to keep meaningful photographs displayed or to honor important anniversaries quietly. Speaking your spouse's name with affection is part of remembrance. Yet, alongside remembrance, it is equally important to engage with today's life. This might involve meeting a friend for coffee, attending a lecture at the local library, spending time outdoors, or learning a new skill that stimulates the mind. The past deserves respect, but the present deserves participation. Before we move on, I want to ask you a gentle question. Do you find yourself avoiding memories of your spouse, or spending most of your time thinking about the past? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this information is helping you, please like, share, and subscribe to the Wisdom Vault. Also, make sure you watch this video till the end, because the remaining points are just as important and may protect your health. Mistake 3. Closing yourself off from human connection. After deep emotional loss, the instinct to protect oneself is very strong. You may feel that opening your heart again, even in friendship, could expose you to further pain. Gradually, invitations are declined, social routines are reduced, and daily interactions become limited. Although this withdrawal may initially feel safer, prolonged isolation can quietly affect both emotional and physical health. Numerous studies in aging research indicate that consistent social connection supports cognitive function, emotional stability, and even cardiovascular health in later life. Reopening yourself to connection does not mean replacing your spouse, nor does it mean diminishing what you shared. It simply means acknowledging that human beings remain relational creatures throughout every stage of life. Connection can take many gentle forms. It may involve attending a community discussion group, participating in a faith-based gathering that provides spiritual comfort, volunteering a few hours each month, walking regularly with a neighbor, or joining a support circle for those who have experienced similar loss. The specific activity matters less than the regular presence of shared conversation and understanding. Robert, a 75-year-old retiree, stopped attending his weekly breakfast group after his wife passed away. Without her presence, he felt exposed and out of place. Months later, a longtime friend encouraged him to return. At first, he remained quiet, but gradually he began engaging again. The simple rhythm of familiar faces and shared stories softened the weight of loneliness. Connection does not remove grief, but it prevents grief from becoming isolation. Mistake 4. Quietly abandoning the future. Perhaps the most subtle shift after losing a spouse occurs internally. Without announcing it, you may begin to believe that long-term planning no longer matters. Gradually, appointments feel less urgent. Household improvements seem unnecessary. Travel plans lose appeal. Days begin to pass without anticipation. This quiet withdrawal from the future can slowly diminish motivation and emotional vitality. Purpose does not have to be dramatic to be powerful. Even modest commitments can restore structure and direction. Planning to attend a family milestone, scheduling regular health checkups, committing to a seasonal activity, or participating in a volunteer program can provide rhythm and forward movement. Thomas, age 70, felt unanchored after his wife passed away. Several months later, he began assisting at a local food pantry twice a week. Those scheduled afternoons provided structure, responsibility, and a renewed sense of contribution. He remained in grief, but he was no longer drifting. Looking toward the future is not a denial of the past. It is an affirmation that your life still carries meaning. Losing a spouse after 60 represents one of life's most profound transitions. The silence is real. The adjustment is complex. The emotional weight is undeniable. Yet living peacefully and strong in the years that follow is possible when you avoid 4 hidden patterns. Do not allow your identity to shrink into your loss. Do not suppress memories or become trapped in them. Do not isolate yourself from meaningful connection. And do not quietly surrender your future. Grief does not follow a straight path. Some days will feel heavier than others, but strength at this stage of life often reveals itself not through dramatic change, but through steady, thoughtful steps forward. If you are walking through this season now, remember that your story did not end with your spouse's passing. One chapter has closed, but the book of your life remains open. You continue to carry wisdom shaped by experience, compassion shaped by love, and resilience shaped by endurance. If this message has offered clarity or comfort, please like, share, and subscribe to the Wisdom Vault. Our purpose is to provide thoughtful guidance and calm encouragement for this meaningful stage of life. Take your time, move gently, but continue moving forward. Even quiet strength is still strength.